Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me again. We're gonna dive right in today. I'm using, of course, my primer first, and today I'm using the Makeup Forever Step 1 Primer, or you can catch me using the VFX Pro Primer, Camera Ready Primer from Pharmacy. So I am taking just a little bit and spreading it lightly over my entire face. I do have oilier skin, so I do need something that is more oil controlled. And this one actually works really good for me, along with the VFX Pro Camera Ready Primer as well. Okay, so once we get this spread over the entire face, and of course you can spread it where you need it, but because I get oily pretty much everywhere, I like to just spread it evenly over my entire face. So once we do this, we will move on. And as you all know, I like to jump into my brows first. So I am using the Benefits Brow Pencil. I believe I'm using the 4.0 or the 4.5. Y'all, I really like this pencil because it's thin. It doesn't take a lot to get on. And you can actually just go right into your brows, sketch your brows in without having to do too much. So while I feel my brows, y'all can actually take a look and just watch me. I actually slowed down the video this go round so you guys can get a full look at what I actually do. So I hope you all enjoy this portion as well. Y'all, I have no clue what I'm watching on TV, but apparently it must be good because I keep getting a little distracted, but notice I keep going. I don't just stop. So apparently it's good to me. So just enjoy. Now, after finishing my brows, I am going in with concealer in this case. Under my brow, I am going to define my brows first of all, starting underneath in order to lay my eyeshadow on properly and right. Of course, you don't have to go this light of an eyeshadow. I prefer lighter because I feel like it actually makes the colors pop. So I choose to go a little bit lighter than some people would, but it's all preference. And of course, you can also use an eyeshadow primer or an eyeshadow base. It doesn't matter. I use concealers that tend to stick. So this particular concealer will hold my eyeshadow just fine. And notice I'm taking a fluffy brush, which I love these brushes. I am taking a fluffy brush and I am just pretty much blending. I love to blend. Of course, you want an even base whenever you get ready to apply your shadow, so it won't go on uneven or heavier in some places and not in all places, or you don't get an even blend. So of course I have made it over to the other eye, and I am doing the same thing, just lining the brows nice and even. just to give my brows more definition. And remember, your brows are sisters and not twins, so you want them even enough, but they don't have to be perfect, because in most cases you won't get them exactly the same each time. So as long as you are satisfied and they are pretty symmetrical, you're good. But don't overthink it and don't overdo it. Okay, in this case, if you ever need to go back and fill in just a little bit to make the brow a little bit more even or a little more symmetrical, you can do so. And you're not redoing your brow, you are just touching up in the area that's necessary. So make sure you pay attention, and it is okay to go back and touch up. Now it's time to go in and define the top of the brow. And yes, I am using a different color. I am using my foundation to actually define the top of the brow. I don't want any weird lines and weird highlights around my brow area. So therefore, I do go in with my foundation. And as you see, I like to smooth it out and get it really nice and even. And therefore, I won't have any weirdness going on. I'm sure we've all seen that before. Now we're preparing for eyeshadow. Eyeshadow, I normally start with in my crease with a fluffy eyeshadow brush, which you would see me blend like a windshield wiper motion, and just get the shadow on nice and even. I generally go in with a very neutral color first, and this is called a prime color. So I lay that in first, and then I go in with my color secondly. Now it's time to start adding a little color. I'm still going with the more neutral look, which is the pop of color. So I am taking my shadow, and you saw me press it in. Yes, I press my shadow in lightly so that I can get a real nice richness of color. And right now I am actually doing a halo look on myself, where I leave the lid, the center of the lid open, and you'll see why. And I just put the eyeshadow on the each corner of the eye and blend it lightly through the center of the crease. And again, you see me pat because I do want to really get the richness of the color there and not have a lot of fallout. So Here it goes. Blending is extremely important. So even once you see me going with my deeper color, I do continue to blend, and I've used those 3 colors along the bottom to get the blend that I have going on. So now it's time to go in and give you a little bit of pop on the center of the eyelid. So we are going into the center. Okay, so there we are. I'm taking a flatter brush and I am literally just patting the shadow on just to get it right in the center. So I do a little patter pat pat to get that eyeshadow on nice and even. And of course, you want to make sure that it's not splotchy. You want to make sure that you don't have any defined lines. So therefore, you don't want to add too much product, and you want to blend, blend, blend. And I am blending with a flatter brush by simply patting it in place. So after going back in and blending and getting my look the way that I want it to look, now I'll start going in with my wonderful foundation. Now notice on multiple videos you will see that I do use different foundations. This is one of my favorites, which is a Mercier foundation, Stay Matte, and of course I will link all of these things in my description below. So I do like to use a more dense, fluffy brush, and I press my foundation in. I don't do a lot of swiping, and I don't do a lot of rubbing because I don't want to have streaks in my makeup. So therefore I do press, 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 patter, 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 getting my foundation on because I want it to be even, but I also want the coverage. Your tools do matter based on what you're needing, and I like full coverage foundation, so therefore I do use a fluffier, more dense brush. And I do take it on my neck because I have hyperpigmentation on my neck area, so I do want a more even look. I don't want to look like my head is cut off. Simply when I get to my jawline, so I put it all the way down my neck, and that's me. Of course, if you don't have pigmentation issues on your neck, you don't have to go all the way down as long as it's a good match foundation towards your neck area. My neck is darker, so I do want to balance that out. And of course, I'm not adding much foundation to my forehead because of when I initially went in to do my brows, there was foundation already there, so I don't want it heavy on my forehead, so I'm just using what's already on the brush and pressing it in. And from here we'll go to concealer. Once you get your foundation to the consistency that you like, then you can go in with your concealer. And notice, I don't do a lot of the weird lines and all that good stuff. I just put the concealer where I'm gonna use the concealer. And I am just, of course, lining the sides of my nose because I do want the appearance of a thinner nose. I really don't use foundation on my chin often, but in this case I did because I wanted a more slim look to my face for sure, and also more definition all over. So now I am patting in with, again, my favorite fluffy brush to actually blend on my face with. And I am just pretty much patting the concealer in place. And it may look a little bit light on your end. It's not as light in person. Of course, the light is reflecting off of the concealer itself, but the concealer is not as light as you think it is or as you see it on the video. But I am pressing and I am blending and until I get it to the consistency that I like. It's time to now set the concealer and foundation. So I am going in with a highlighting powder, which is a more neutral tone. It does look a little light, but it's more of a translucent powder. And I am pressing it again everywhere that I put the concealer. I'm going to pat in the highlight powder, which again, I will list the products below. And once I complete pressing the highlight powder in, I then will go on to my setting powder for my entire face. So now after I've completed my highlighting powder, I go in with my face powder. And I am going over my face in all the areas that I did not put concealer, except on my chin. I do like to apply my skin tone powder on my chin area, even if I put a little bit of highlight, because I don't want my chin looking weird and white or weird and ashy. So therefore I do tone my chin down with my face powder. And notice I am using another dense brush, but it is larger. This is a powder brush. This brush could actually be used for foundation as well. But again, I don't like to use a ton of product, but I do want to get the results of full coverage. So therefore, the brushes do matter. Now I'm taking my same face powder and I am going in the area of my nose that I did not use concealer. So I do want my nose to have the appearance of a more slim, nice, slimmer nose. Of course, I'm not trying to change my appearance. I just want the idea of a slimmer nose. And this is Mercier powder in Deep. And I really like that powder. It is a loose powder, but I use tons of powders, but that is the powder that I have chosen for this video. Now this palette I am going to use to contour with the reddish brown color, but I use powders to contour. You're not going to see me use a lot of liquids and creams. Every now and then I will use liquids and creams to contour or concealers to contour, but in this case, in this video, I am using an eyeshadow, which is okay. And in some cases I use a face powder, as I stated before. So really for me, it's whatever I grab in the moment is what I use, because I know how to use products for multiple uses. So you guys have to learn that. You guys have to pick up on that, so you won't be, you know, traveling with a ton of stuff. You can limit what you take when you travel, just by knowing how to use them in multiple ways. Yes, I do tend to finish my eyes off last, and because I will be wearing lashes, I do apply liquid liner to the top of the eyelid. If I'm not wearing lashes, it's rare that I apply liquid liner at all. It's just a step that you don't have to take. If you like liquid liner, I say go for it. If you have extra time, I say go for it. If you're wearing lashes, I say go for it. But otherwise, if it's not necessarily something that I use all the time or every time I put on makeup. But I do enjoy it. It does define your lash line a lot more. You won't have a weird gap you won't see the gap if you have a small gap between your lashes and your lash line if you apply any type of false lash. So that liquid liner does help out a lot. Now it's time for lashes. You definitely want to set your glue out just a few moments so your glue can get a bit tacky in order to place your lashes on without having a lot of movement. A lot of people make the mistake of applying lash glue to the lash right out the little tube. And it moves so much. They're not sticky, they're not tacky, so therefore you don't get a nice smooth lash application. So you have to sit your lash glue out just for a few moments to get the glue a little tacky, and then apply the lashes. And y'all, I just changed the lashes because I was going for a not so big lash. So I took off my first initial lash because it was a little bit bigger than I wanted. Now I am applying a smaller lash. When applying lashes, you want to get as close in to the lash line. You don't want to necessarily sit the lash on top of your skin, but you want to sit it right at the base of the lash line and press the lash against the lash line as, you know, even as possible. And of course I am using the Duo Glue white tube blue lettering, and adjust the lash as needed. But again, make sure your lash glue is a little tacky. It will take a few minutes to dry, but the Duo glue will dry clear. And then now we will apply the second lash. Same thing. So if you're struggling with lash application, you may want to rewind this segment a couple times and just look at how I have applied the lash. But again, I don't really bother it. I let it dry and then I'll go in and adjust it every minute or two. But you don't have to just keep messing with it. Just make sure the lash glue is tacky. And of course, I am showing you that if you have a lash strip that is straight or straighter, it's okay to adjust it by doing what you saw me just do. Bend the lash so then it's easier for the lash to set to your eye. Make it a little bit more rounded where it sets right on that lash line. Adjust as you need. Now that lashes are all on and pretty much set, I am now going in with blush, and I am using my Juvia's palette. And of course, you see that it has been really used. This is one of my favorite blush palettes because it works for multiple skin tones and it has different shades. It even has bronzer in the palette, but as you can see, my bronzers are gone. I actually have them in little containers because they broke on me. And now I am using again a dense brush. This is a shorter, fluffier blush brush, but it is very dense. Again, I don't like using a lot of products, so therefore I use tools that make my products work better for me. So I literally just buff the blush on. And actually in this segment, you can see the discoloration between my face, my neck, and my chest, but notice the balance. You can not even see where the makeup stops. It blends right into my neck. But of course, because I don't want my face to have to put on makeup on my face as dark as my neck, I actually make sure that all the colors work together to make me look my natural skin tone on my face, but also it blends in with my neck. But now I am going in with a softer light liner. So this is it's not a white liner. This is more of a cream colored liner. And this is to open my eyes up, make my eyes look a little bit larger, especially when I wear fuller lashes or thicker lashes or longer lashes. Sometimes my eyes can appear to close. So therefore, I like to light my eyes up anyway. I'm going in with black liner on the very edge of my lash line on the bottom, which I tend to only just line the half of my lash line. I've always done that. I don't know why on myself. I bring it all the way through generally on my clients, but I do really like the half liner on myself. And sometimes I don't even wear bottom liner, but I always wear bottom mascara. And of course, I have popped lip gloss on, and I did want to go with a more nude lip because of what I'm wearing is a bolder color. So therefore, I have gone in with a nude lip. Of course, I do like to highlight the inside corners of my eyes and also go in with color underneath the bottom of my lash line before I apply mascara. To finish off the look, I am going in with one of my favorite mascaras, which I have a few favorite mascaras, but of course I will list this below. This is a Pharmacy mascara. It is a dual mascara, so therefore it has where you can use a side for more lengthening and volume, and then a side for separation. This is one of my favorite mascaras. Again, it does define the lashes really, really well. And I am taking the very tip of the spoolie of the mascara and just running it across the top portion of my lashes, but on my lashes, just so they can kind of mesh with the false lash. But I am not rubbing the mascara on the false lash themselves. So now I am pretty much done, and of course I will show the final look. I will be adding my highlight and also finishing off with setting spray, and then of course you will see the final look. Spray away. This is my setting spray. I like to spray it on after I'm completely done, and then I'll take my brush and just press in the areas just so the foundation, the powder, everything just completely sets together. And once you do that, you are to a complete finish. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you really enjoyed the video. Please comment below. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Again, thank you, and make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you soon.